Okay, now we're prepping for the marathon. This first topic I want to talk to you about in the prep is so important. It's really everything. It's about adopting the right mindset. You've made a decision. That was the first right mindset. You made a decision to go ahead and, actually write this thing. Stop thinking about it and just start doing it, for better or for worse. So that was the first one. But now you're in here. Now you've joined the community, or I hope you join the community, and you're going to take the challenge and start getting those weekly challenges. And the main thing I want you to know for the long haul, the main rule is I want you to just, this is your creativity. This is your moment. This is not another thing on the to-do list. This is you finally letting yourself play in the creative sandbox. So, you know, when you show up here, I want you to get loose. There's no time for perfectionism here. Do your best to make your writing time your you time, your play time, your discovery time. In order to do that, I'm going to give your left brain all the info it needs to know so that it can leave us alone and go rule the rest of your life while leaving the creativity part to us. Basically, I have created a roadmap is all you need to know. A series of weekly challenges that when you add them all up amounts to you doing the necessary development work in an order that I have found over the last 30 years of experimenting to be very beneficial. But also need to know it's not the law. I am aware that every mind works different, and sometimes people need to work backwards. Not here to judge on that either. In fact, my students know I often encourage you to rebel if it's necessary. You have to follow your own instincts, not mine. But in the beginning, it does help either way to follow somebody who's done it quite a lot before you start riffing on your own. So I've picked an order, and we'll be distributing weekly writing challenges with the theory that it will lead you through every phase you need to go through in order to write a book or script, from the idea phase to the final draft. Some weeks are going to feel really easy. Some weeks are going to feel impossible. And it just doesn't matter. Just keep on going. We're going for the cumulative effect, not each what happens each week. We want what happens over the whole. In fact, just like personal growth, the writing process is very circular in nature. If we're just gonna keep circling around things over and over again, that's how it's gonna go. With my process, the whole thing starts very, very macro. We'll be challenged to look at our story from the very broadest of strokes. And then slowly, we're just going to keep circling deeper and deeper and deeper until we're like deep into the details. The first entire year is going to be all about journaling and pondering. No actual pages for an official manuscript or script should be written. So get those paper journals out if you want, or you can be on the computer, but either way, don't take what you actually write serious. Think of it more as pondering on the page. It's very serious in terms of discovery, but not so serious in terms of actual, words you're going to be using for your final draft. We'll be doing deep dives into characters. We're going to be doing world building. We're going to be experimenting with the plot and all that your story can be. There's really no room to be getting too attached to your words or ideas. You want to be free enough to experiment, because the further you get down the road, the more information comes in. And some of that new info will change the whole game for you, and in a good way. So you want to create room for that. You want to keep loose. You want to allow. Just keep allowing, which will test some of you. That will be some of the first challenges for you in the process, is not trying to control things and letting things just be discovered. And for those of you, that's when you'll like that by the second year, we will start to dive into how exactly we plan to tell this story, which by then should feel like a true story that happened in your head. And now you're just figuring out the best way to tell it. Because by then we've already figured it out. We were free to dive into the details on the page and play with style and flow, writing and rewriting, and finally letting that perfectionist show up. for the final revisions, but not a moment sooner than that. So now that I've told the left brain what we're doing, that's what we're doing for the whole 2 years, I want to talk to the right brain for a minute. And I only have a few things to say to you. And that is just show up here as often as you can and have as much fun exploring the challenges as you possibly can. If you fall off for a week or two or 12, I really genuinely don't care. I am not that kind of coach. I know what life just keeps lifing. The point is to develop a muscle where you just get back on with this little judging in the middle as possible. In fact, you can jump back on faster if you don't waste a lot of time judging yourself. I'm certainly not going to do that. So don't make this another should on your to-do list. Make it a get to do and fight your way back to it whenever and however you can. If you can show up more than you don't, then you will eventually get there. It's just math. And especially in the beginning, let yourself wander outside of the lines. Let yourself flounder. Develop patience for not having the answer. Let your brain be bothered about it, but don't get bothered about it. It's just the process. All creatives at every level go through this. Even the most seasoned, I don't know for sure, but I bet you Stephen King still goes through this. So we can get panicked about not having all the answers because we care about the story. That's why. But it's fine. It will pop in when it's ready. In fact, the next step might unlock it. You don't know. So just keep moving. And again, have fun. You cannot do this wrong. And that's all you need to know about that. And as always, if you want to join the challenge officially, if you've been following along on YouTube, but you want to join the challenge officially and be in the community with us, then click on the link below. You can join anytime. And the first month is always free. So we hope to see you. Welcome, welcome.